On Monday evening, President Putin gave a televised address. He also signed Russia's recognition of the independence of Donetsk and Luhansk in eastern Ukraine and ordered troops into the territories. Within hours, unidentified military vehicles were filmed near them. And Vladimir Putin says any Russian troops will be peacekeeping, to which the US says this.
He calls them peacekeepers. This is nonsense. We know what they really are.
All this has come after months of a Russian military build-up near to Ukraine. Back in mid-November, this was the warning from NATO.
In recent weeks, we have seen large and unusual concentrations of Russian forces close to Ukraine's borders.
Moscow said this was alarmist, but neither the troops nor the concerns went away. On the 8th of December, the Washington Post published this recent satellite image showing Russian deployments. It reported a US estimate of 70,000 troops close to the border. Russia didn't deny this, but in an address in late December, President Putin said this.
The strengthening of US and NATO military groupings on Russia's borders and the organisation of large-scale military manoeuvres are a serious cause for concern.
To this, we can add Putin's long-standing frustration that NATO has expanded further east. And by January, Russian troops were arriving in Belarus. It neighbours both Russia and Ukraine, and Moscow said its actions were about repelling external aggression. It talked of compromises too. But by February, this was the American assessment.
We're in a window when an invasion could begin at any time.
On the same day, Russia claimed our country is not going to attack anyone. But Russia's military activity continued. There were naval manoeuvres in the Black Sea. This satellite image showed helicopter deployments close to the border. Another showed a new pontoon bridge in Belarus, less than 6 kilometers from Ukraine. At this time, Russia was also claiming it was pulling some troops out. It released these images to prove it, but NATO was unconvinced.
So far, we have not seen any sign of de-escalation on the ground.
By this point, the Americans were claiming there were 150,000 Russian troops in place, which brings us to this week, with Vladimir Putin talking of Ukraine as ancient Russian soil and ordering his troops into Ukraine. And while the West imposes new sanctions, he now considers his next move.